At Bendigo Bank, we like to help communities grow. We concentrate on delivering you great products and services.
I like you so very much. So much, in fact, I gotta wake you up. It's not that I have words.
Because we know that if you grow,
Wanna see you looking
the community will grow with you. At the Bendigo, it starts with you.
A very good morning and welcome to the Geelong Cricket Show here from our wonderful city in Geelong. Let's hope the weather's fine and the predicted showers abate and give us a fine afternoon for cricket. Joining me at the table of knowledge this morning, again, is the leading light of the Leopold Lions. Dressed in pink, which delights our producer, is Dean Armstrong. Have a look at those colours. How are you, Dino?
Very well, Graham. Good morning, Tim. Dressed in pink.
You just getting home from last night again.
Dressed in pink, obviously I must stink. Keep right away from me there, Tim.
Because we're doing fine in 009
Oh, look.
as the Bellarine Peninsula Cricket Association and Geelong correspondent also joins us. Very warm welcome to Tim Mitchell. How are you, Tim?
Yeah, very good. Morning, Rollo. Morning, Dean. And as you say, BPCA is normally my forte, Rollo, and there's been plenty going on down there. The 2020s kicked off this week as well, round one of that, but all the news that we're going to have a little chat about later on is about the points being deducted from 6 of the sides in the BPCA, which has obviously been probably the biggest news in local cricket to come out so far this year, I'd say.
Yes, a little controversy, but we will certainly be having a look at that. But let's start off on a positive note. Last weekend, the Barwon Rockets, yes, they won the Victorian State Under-18 Championships when they defeated the South East Sharks in very comfortable fashion. Geelong's the Barwon Rockets scoring 9 for 256 and dismissing the South Eastern Sharks for 142. Just so happened that a gentleman by the name of Luke Mitchell, who was a brother of Tim, made a very fine 59 playing at the St Kilda Cricket Club ground at the Junction Oval. Tim, your thoughts on the game? A great win by the Barwon Rockets.
Oh, it certainly was. I think it's their biggest win easily in the Carnival, Rollo, which is probably the surprise. They sort of had a couple of tight wins a few weeks ago when they played, obviously, the 5 days in a row, and then to come out, I think the South East Country Sharks that they were playing had beaten probably the side that was, you'd have to say the favourite at the start. I think the South East Seagulls, who were actually down from sort of like Warrnambool way, I think, and they've always been a pretty strong side. So I think they were pretty lucky in that they did get out and didn't have to play the Seagulls. But the Rockets have been a quality side throughout, went through undefeated, and as you said, to see Luke get a few runs was nice too, because the other finally got to play in a few years ago. He was out for single digits. So for him to get a score and for the Barwon Rockets to get up, it's pretty historic in that it's the first under-18 title that the Barwon Rockets have won. They've won a few Dowling Shields when it was at Geelong, but to take out that under-18 title, it's huge for cricket in the region.
And congratulations to their coach Brian Thomas, who's put a lot of work into the Barwon Rockets in the under-18s. Scruffy Oborn from down there at Colac, and of course our own beloved Brian Coughlin. Yes, the only man. He has got his own Facebook, I understand, Tim.
The boys love him. You can actually become a fan of Brian Coughlin if you love him that much. Just by clicking onto Facebook, and I think there's already about 20 friends on there, or 20 fans on there, so he's a beloved man, as you say, Cogs.
We haven't seen him since their victory either, Graham.
No, he's gone into hiding, maybe withdrawing. Premier Cricket last weekend in the first of a 2-day game between 2nd and 4th, that is Geelong, and the 4th place Fitzroy Doncaster. Geelong started off very well, no wicket for 72, with Joel Davies smashing 64 off 75 balls, including 8 fours and 1 6, and then they slumped to 5 for 132 before they finally declared at 9 for 309, with Tom Elliott scoring his 2nd century of the season, the 3rd of his career, making 124 not out, 13 fours, 3 sixes, 153 balls. He's now made 485 runs for the season at an average of 69.6, and we will see Fitzroy Doncaster resume at 1 wicket for 31. Should be a good tight result, Tim.
I think so, Rollo. The one thing that's probably positive for the Cats, Lloyd Mash played for the Victorians this week against South Australia, I think, so he won't be there. He's one of Fitzroy Doncaster's leading scorers for the year, so that's a positive for them. I think the 4 bowlers they used tonight, they didn't actually use Justin McPhee. I still think he's the one. They've got Trent Waller, who's obviously an experienced campaigner, and Mark Carson doing so well. But if they can find that third paceman, the Cats, I still think that's the key to sort of just igniting their season, getting that momentum going at the right time of the year.
So go Cats, Geelong Cricket Club, second place, 9 for 309, Fitzroy Doncaster to face a full day, and Geelong need to pick up 10 wickets. Yeah, no wicket for 31, Rollo, and 10 wickets to come to Geelong's way in order for them to take out a very important win in Premier Cricket. Turning our attention now to your issues, and I will read to you an email that I received again this week, and great to see that we're still getting continuing feedback on rawlo7@bigpond.com. That's the address, rawlo7bigpond.com, on your comments or issues, and in particular grounds that you feel should be played on in the GCA Grand Finals. But this week, this one comes from a gentleman by the name of Square Leg, and he says, Rawlo... Square Leg. He said, Rawlo, you've been talking about home side square leg umpires. Well, something has to be done about the blatant cheating that is happening. If this was to happen at club the week before finals and a result was needed either way for both teams, or just one to win so as to go on and play the finals the next week, could you imagine what could eventuate if one side cheated to win? One shudders to think. One answer may be that the GCA could bring in a ruling that if the officiating main umpire knows without a fact that square leg was definitely cheated, that a report is to be made on that club and be fined, and the square leg umpire be warned if he is reported again for the same offence, an automatic suspension to be made. We all know that the touch and go must be given in the batsman's favour, and all would agree. But this, and it seems to be getting more prevalent, must be eliminated from our game. I know the obvious answer is more umpires and perhaps more money would help to entice more to participate. I am sure that many players would love to come back into the sport that they have dearly loved and would hopefully give back to the game something in return. Perhaps a questionnaire to all clubs, to all divisions, umpires associations, and even if cheeky enough, to Cricket Australia on their thoughts and possible solutions, maybe even extra money for payments. But anyway, a start has to be made, and you are in the right place to start, the media. Thanks for looking at this, and I hope it gives you food for thought. Square Leg, your thoughts, Dean Armstrong.
Well, Graham, I think going back a fair while, I did bring this up, and I did say to the GCA I thought this was going to be a problem. And clearly the problem's right there, right at the coalface. We don't have enough umpires. That's the first thing, Graham. We do not have enough umpires to do all the GCA games, all the Ballerine games, every single game of cricket around Geelong. We just don't have enough umpires. Why? Because they're not getting paid enough. I've said that from the start, right early. Pay them more money, and you might see a lot of the players that retire come out of retirement and decide to umpire, and you will get the best umpires because these players have played at the highest level. Right now, you have, in some games, in GCA on the weekend, which I played in, Graham, we had one senior umpire and we had to do square leg. Now, the players put a fair bit on themselves to play cricket. They don't want to umpire. So, if you don't want to umpire, you're not really interested in umpiring square leg, are you? So I'm not saying that people actually cheat deliberately. I just don't think they are skilled enough to make those decisions. They are not umpires. So, GCA, we put it to you a fair while ago. Do something about it. Now we're starting to get emails about it, so maybe it's time to do it. Make it happen.
Thanks to Square Leg and your comments. As we go to a break on the Geelong Cricket Show, we'll be back with more shortly.
At Bendigo Bank, we like to help communities grow. We concentrate on delivering you great products and services.
I like you so very much. So much, in fact, I gotta wake you up. It's not that I have words.
Because we know that if you grow,
Wanna see you looking
the community will grow with you. At the Bendigo, it starts with you.